This Seattle entrepreneur makes $40,000 a month selling hot dogs.
Busy months can bring in $100,000. Last Saturday, one of our carts pulled in $3,831 in just 3 hours.
But how much do you need to start?
I actually had no money. I was forced to make my own cart. We made $10,000 that first month, and we only worked weekends.
How do you get people lining up like it's an iPhone launch with zero marketing?
It's all about finding the most profitable location. The trick is,
join me today to find out what it really takes to turn a hot dog hustle into a street food empire, starting from scratch. All right, Namoka, so how much do you spend on hot dogs per week?
well, it varies, but around $3,000 to $4,000 a week.
And what do we have planned for today?
So today we're gonna go in here, we're gonna go shopping. I'm gonna get some of my big sellers, some of my main things that I use a lot of. After this, we're gonna go kind of where I store all my different carts that we use for different events. So we'll go over to my storage unit.
Where are we serving the dogs today in Seattle?
Today we'll be near the Paramount Theater.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go over to Climate Pledge Arena.
Quite the day for hot dogs here in Seattle, as you can see, right?
Right.
A downpour, but I'll tell you what, let's go shopping.
Okay, let's
All right.
go.
And we have your helper?
Yes.
What's your name?
My main.
Betty, good to meet you.
First, we are going to get our number one, what makes Deez Dogz, our number one seller, which is our grilled onions.
Your grilled onions. Okay, I'm about to find out what her
Everybody
grilled
has
onions.
grilled onions, but nobody has our grilled onions.
Okay, all right. I want to go back to the fact that you started this with no experience, no chef experience, no cooking experience. Talk a little bit about that and the importance of that story.
You know, a hot dog is kind of a simple thing. You might start basic, right? But then you perfect it. The way we cook and the way we do, it's not basic because it was always trial and error with us. Maybe in the beginning, we might have started boiling the hot dog, sticking the hot dog in water and then putting it on the bun, what actually sucks the taste out of the hot dog from my experience.
Right.
So I think later you move on and you say, well, let's try this. And I'm like, how about if we take it straight out of the package, from package to grill, slit it open, cook it from inside out so that it's crisp, because most people have a texture thing with hot dogs
Trying
too.
to imagine that's what you're talking
So
about.
yeah, we split it. All of our hot dogs are cooked from inside out, so it gave a different flavor. So you just evolve. It's evolving.
Let's get this paid for. I'm curious what we're gonna see as the final bill, my guess.
I'm gonna say around $375.
Okay. So what made you get in the hot dog business in the first place? You could have done a million of other things.
I think it was something that I had experienced in the nightlife myself, and the Seattle dog is a staple here, and it was something that I felt I could do better.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so my own taste, my own experience, my own being out there and actually having it, being a connoisseur of these things in the nightlife, because I was quite a party goer
It made sense.
a little bit ago. And so I said, I can do this better, because they're buying this at basic. What if I could, you know what I'm saying? And that was my goal.
Where are we going next? What happens to all the ingredients and so forth?
Well, next we'll go to my carts, because we'll take the onions there. That's where I keep extra supply in case they have a shortage here.
Gotcha.
I have some, so it's my supply area for like my onions, my napkins, things like that, and also all my carts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's close it up and head out there.
Okay.
So this is your storage units, but give us the details. Why here as opposed to, say, a storage facility somewhere?
I use this instead of a storage unit because this is more efficient financially. It's pretty cheap. I pay about $175 a month for this.
Not bad. Let me go back to the first days of Deez Dogz. Was it a success from the start?
I feel like it was a success. It was progressive, definitely, if we went from there to where we are now. But I don't ever think there was a decline, because I think everything was like, okay, I need to do this. I was always upping it, you know what I'm saying? I was always elevating the game, right?
Take us through the first few months. How much revenue did you bring in? Month one, say through month three.
I would say I probably started with the first month around $8,000 to $10,000, and that was just doing weekends only. And as I probably progressed the next month, maybe went up to like 15, because I would add a different location, or I would add longer hours. You know, I would meet the needs of the customers, so I was able to see that and just graduate. I graduated pretty rapidly though.
Wow.
And then probably by like the third or fourth month, I was at 20,000 easily, because I ended up purchasing another cart like right away.
Yep. How much of that was profit and how much went to expenses? Say the $10,000 a month.
If we did 10,000, I'm gonna say maybe 7,500 would be profit,
That's amazing.
and 2,500 would go between supplies and paying my workers.
So your hot dog premium price, what is that price?
$11.
$11
We charge
bucks.
11, but it comes with everything. Even if you add the good stuff or you don't add the good stuff, it's 11 across the board.
Was there a turning point for Deez Dogz when you realized man, this is gonna take off. Can you share the story a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, there was one time I had took over for Betty in downtown Seattle, and it was a day like I just realized like everybody knew her. We actually got the cart stuck in the street, and a police officer thought I was Betty, and he came up like, Betty, do you need some help? And he literally parked his car in the street and helped me get the hot dog cart onto the side of the street. And I was like, no, I'm not Betty, I'm the owner. Betty's taking a day off. Everybody's always want to make sure she's coming back. And then during my day of working there, people were like, is she coming back? Is she sick? Is she okay? And I just knew like we had something as far as like the customer service goes. Like I knew that was like such a big thing when everybody in the city knows you. And there are lots of other people around, but for us to be known and for people to actually care about us, that was the moment that I decided I would build my business around customer service. Because then that's when I realized that people don't want to come run out in the street to help you just because of your hot dog. People were coming out because they know who you are as a person and that you care about them when they do come shop with you.
All right, so different shop, different carts. This begs the question, talk to us about the carts. And I see one is smaller, the other one's bigger. Can you just explain to us the cart dynamics a little bit?
Well, you know, we started doing a lot of wedding events, and we even did like some memorial services. We've done a lot of rooftop parties, corporate parties, you know, like at Block 41 and stuff. So we wanted to get something more black. Like we have a black umbrella for this. This expands out. So it was more classier once you put it together. As far as the other ones were more street. They're smaller, they're easier to put up.
Okay, that's
you can do things smaller places. Sometimes we use elevators because we're in people apartment, like fancy high rises. I want to say apartments or condos.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so you need to be able to get your cart in there. So like the smaller one will be able to fit in there as opposed to this one that has an extension.
Dollar-wise, can you show me like what does this cart generate versus that one? Is there a big difference or in
no,
general?
I don't think they generate different money because I can use any of them for anything, but I do think they serve different purposes depending what people want. Also, when I'm doing events, I give people an option to choose out of the 5 carts. Do you want the silver one? Do you want the red one? Do you want a black one?
Got it. And what do they cost?
This one is about $12,000. Now, the other ones, I bought them quite a while ago, like 5 years ago. They were like $6,000. So the same guy that made those made this one.
What kind of profits can you expect in this business? Profit margin?
It's going to always be about 30, 70, and it's going to vary probably between about 5%, never really more than that.
All right, where are we going next? We're actually setting up in Seattle, right?
Yeah, we're going to go to Climate Pledge Arena next. We're setting up for a big concert down there, a sold-out concert.
Let's go check it out.
All right,
Help you set up.
Yep.
Yeah, Betty, we've seen you throughout the day. How long have you been working with Mocha?
I have now been working with her for like a little over 10 years.
Oh, wow. Now, how important is this location for the business, by the way?
I would say that this is one of our key locations in the city. It hosts a lot of events, anywhere from Circus Soleil to the Storm Games, which is our WNBA here in Seattle.
Location-wise, how hard is it to lock something in like this?
I literally got introduced, didn't know that it was Tim, CEO of Climate Pledge, and he welcomed me to the location.
Is this the biggest area that you guys sell hot dogs at? Or like there's Comic-Con, there's other conventions that you guys do business at, right?
So a sold-out show here at Climate Pledge Arena is upwards to 17,000 people.
Whoa.
And so Comic-Con, in just the 3 days in that weekend, it's over 200 to 300,000 people.
Right, and you can sell
we're
what?
Smelling, seeing, I mean, day and night. We stay out there from wee hours of the morning, I'd say like 10 in the morning, to when they're getting their badges, all the way throughout the evening, past midnight.
So what are you gonna make for me? I'm excited.
Would you like to try the Seattle dog today?
Yeah, let's do it. Keep it classy. And
the Seattle dog is with caramelized onions and cream cheese on our toasted bun.
so the price point I've noticed, it's $11 per dog, right?
Yes.
It almost seems like it could be twice the price of a competitor. How are you able to achieve that? And can you speak to that a little bit more?
Well, they sell a Seattle dog in the stadium as well. And it's not considered a Seattle dog to my standard because
Probably $20.
yeah, 22 without a drink. I feel that our dogs are not only tasted, but visually they look way better than most boiled, steamed dogs.
So one thing I noticed as soon as we pulled up, started unpacking, setting up, people just walking on the sidewalk recognized you, said, Betty, what's going on? What's going on, girl? Things like that.
Absolutely.
Speaks to the customer service and the consistency,
Absolutely.
right? Can you speak more to that? How do you focus on it? What are some key things that you make sure you provide to the customer that make you guys stand out?
I feel that my customer service, for one, is very natural. And I try and talk to all community members Like I said, you never know who your next customer is gonna be. And so I always make sure that I put on a smile and I try and bring that out as much as I can through a hot dog. This is the Seattle dog.
That's it. Now I got to figure out how to
hide it.
which way to destroy it and get my face all dirtied up. My beard is not helping. It tastes great. Thank you, Betty.
Hey, you're so welcome, Polly.
Yeah, the cream cheese is interesting. I like it. The secret to Namoka's success, it's undoubtedly her resilience. She was able to overcome unbelievable hardships because she knew what many would-be entrepreneurs don't. Perfection isn't an illusion. She didn't wait for the perfect plan or perfect timing. She started where she was with what she had. And today, Deez Dogz brings in over $40,000 a month. Bringing your business to life isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about taking action. That's why a tool like Busy is such a game changer for entrepreneurs. Turning an idea into a business shouldn't take months of red tape and paperwork. Busy makes launching your business fast and simple. No hidden fees, no sneaky subscriptions, just a single clear upfront cost that covers everything from LLC formation to compliance tracking. And since Busy is bootstrapped and founder-led, they'll actually care about entrepreneurs. They'll handle your state filings and even provide a professional address with digital mail scanning to help you stay organized and focused on what matters most, growing your business. Namoka knows better than most. Progress beats perfection every single day. So click the link below and bring your new business to life today with Busy. All right, so this is the other location. Now, is this like your spot?
This is
Exclusively? Like when you get a permit, that's what it means, right?
You find the spot, you tell them where you want to be. But the thing about us, here's a secret here. We are a food cart. This is a 3x5 food cart. It is street approved. If you have a food truck or a food trailer, there are only a handful of permits in the city of Seattle.
Good point.
And they're a bidding system. It's a lottery. It's like playing the lottery if you get them. With having this size cart, I don't know about other city ordinances, but in the city of Seattle, I can choose my location. And as long as there's enough room to put my cart there and have room to walk on the sidewalk. It's some stuff to it though. You got to draw it out and all that, but you don't have to be a real artist or anything.
How does the quality of your dogs compare to the competitors? What's important to you when you make it happen?
I think what I've learned, because I usually try to go and eat the competition's hot dogs so that I can know what I can compare it to. So I would say that what I've seen around town a lot of is people boil the hot dogs because they want to pop them off faster. So when people come out, they feel like if we have a bunch of boiled ones, I can be like this and I can just hand them over. And mines are from pack to grills. Also, we split our dogs open and we cook them inside out to a crisp. And we toast our buns. So I think that's
so
what's
it's quality over the speed, right?
But we give quality and speed.
Right.
But we figured out how to do it and we have a system.
All right, blitz time with Mocha.
Period.
She gave me permission to call her Mocha. You know, that's
Mocha. Everybody calls me Mocha.
All right. What's the most hot dogs you've ever sold in a single day?
5,000.
When did you know it was time to hire employees?
I didn't.
A couple months in? How has working with your friends and family affected your relationships with them? A little more serious here.
I love it. I don't know. It hasn't affected my relationship, honestly.
All right. What's the biggest misconception people have about what it's really like to be a hot dog vendor?
They think we're broke.
Oh. What's the most memorable Yelp review you've ever received, positive or negative?
It was one in Chinese, and he loved it, and he wrote it in Chinese, and it was translated. The way it translated was so weird, but I saw the 5 stars, and I knew it had to be good.
Awesome. Okay, what's the biggest piece of advice you'd give to someone who wants to get into this business?
Do it.
Do it. Don't be
You
broke.
want more to it?
I don't know.
Do it. You won't be broke. Care about it. Love it. Put your energy in it. Put your heart into it, and you'll go far.
Seems like such an easy business to start.
I feel like it is, but this is looking back on it. I can tell you now, from looking back, somebody who's been through it, it is.
Besides the convention days and the really, really big events, how many hot dogs are you selling on a per day basis?
So at this location, I would say like 150 to 200 just on a concert night.
Okay.
So a certain concert of a certain age group may not sell as much as another concert of a certain age group and a certain genre.
Interesting.
Genres sell different. Age of people sell different.
Right.
It depends the lifestyle of those people, whether they're gonna buy or not. But I would say on average, between the two carts, probably 400 on the low end.
Okay.
And you can go up to 600 depending on the genre or the crowd that you're bringing.
And the difference is really just foot traffic.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the seasonality, the busy, slow times of the year. What drives that demand?
I don't think there's really a slow time of year. I would say like we might have a slow 2 weeks between 2 or 3 weeks, and it would be right before Christmas and right until you get to the new year, probably. And then New Year's like gonna be crazy because, you know, we're down here on the street and so I don't know if we really have a slow season. And I think winter is our busiest season.
The busiest is now?
Even in the snow season. The problem is convincing my workers to go out.
And stand in the cold.
Stand in the cold, you know, a couple of them. A couple other ones don't mind. They go winter, snow, fall, they don't care. So I think it's year round actually, because the summer brings the people out. The winter brings the concerts. So when you got people indoors, when it's cold, that's when all these places sell out of their concerts. All of these arenas do concerts. The summer brings more of the games and soccer and football and Mariners and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
It's just a switch of what kind of shows.
I mean, having interviewed many businesses, some have a dead season, right? Where nothing pretty much happens and you make 80% of your business certain amounts of the year.
No.
Here it sounds like we
don't have a dead season.
Set pretty good throughout the whole 12 months.
Yeah, we are.
Nice. Well, let's go take a closer look on this cart, because I know it's a little bit different than the other one.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. What brings you guys out tonight?
I'm just enjoying Seattle. You know, it's a Friday. Got to be out on the streets.
Nice. Enjoy some good dogs. Have you guys heard about Seattle dog? What's famous about it? What's special about it?
I think the cream cheese and the onion is really what makes it so iconic.
Anybody want to share any feedback on Deez Dogz? What do you like about it? How would you describe it, like in 1 or 2 words?
Flavorful, really well made.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's something similar. I like the spiciness of this one.
What about you? What did you get?
I got the regular Seattle dog, and I thought it was really fresh and juicy, which I think is great.
You gotta have that. What about you?
I kind of agree. I got the spicy one, and I thought I haven't had the spicy version of a Seattle dog before, and it kind of hits.
Have you guys tried any other food carts in Seattle? If so, what was it? What made you go and try that food? Is it just because they're out there at 1 a.m. in the morning, or besides the hunger, what else is it?
I would say hunger, and then also convenience. It's just like, it also feels like a sense of you want to get something after you're going out, and it's just like fun to do with friends. That's not like sitting in a establishment.
Tell us a little bit about the hot dog that you made on your own. What's the story behind that?
I was just working at the time, and then I had like this silver rolling tray, like where you deliver things to people or you would deliver food. And I don't know what came to me. I was at Home Depot one day and I was like, ooh, this plywood would fit like right on this thing. So I buy the plywood. Now the metal cart already has wheels. I set it on there, and then I didn't want to mount it on there because then how would I transport it? So my thing was like, no, you're gonna slide the board in the truck, put the grill on there, you're gonna put that on there, you're gonna throw your condiments in the back, and then you do it as you go. So when I show up to every location, that's what I did.
How much business did you actually do with the homemade cart?
I was doing around 150 to 200 hot dogs a night, and we were selling them for about $10 each. And so we usually worked club nights, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So what'd you do the first month, all in revenue?
I'm gonna say in revenue, like about $10,000 to $12,000.
Wow, and then you were working only weekends?
We were just working only weekends because I think initially we wanted fast money. We were never really thinking about the longevity of it. It was kind of that moment, and it was too far out to think so far ahead. So that initial time was just like, okay, the night money is good, people are drinking, people are hungry, and at that time we're in places where nobody is at, so you're gonna get paid regardless.
And I'm sure we'll talk about this later on, but like, how did you find your first location? How did you know it was the right one to start with?
Well, it kind of comes back to how I wanted to do this. I was a nightlifer myself, and hot dogs were a big thing, and people were, I knew where to go. So I'm like, go where the alcohol is. Not like to endorse alcohol, but go where people are drinking, bars, people are having fun, and there's not food at, and that's how you're gonna get paid.
Yeah, $10K a month in the first 30 days. That's pretty amazing. I gotta ask, like, where did you learn to do all of this? Did you grow up in a business-minded family? What was your upbringing like? Can you share with us a little bit about that?
I grew up, it was me, my mom, my dad, 5 siblings. We didn't have a lot. You know, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. She lived on state money. My dad was like a little street hustler, bring home a little something every now and then. So I think you just learn how to like survive and hustle. And especially as I got into high school, like my parents just were really like off the rocker. You know, they were great parents, a little bit neglectful, but they were good parents as far as they were there, right? But as far as the money needs, they would blow money and do different things. So at that point, I had to kind of learn how to hustle. And so my hustle, I would find people with a lot of kids. I would go babysit. I delivered newspapers. I would like sell clothes, use clothing. Like all throughout my teenage years, I did a lot of hustling. Hustling was my thing. And I took that money and I put it back in my house for my other siblings and for my parents, who I was kind of a parent to, right, throughout my life. So I think that's where you learn the hustle. And I think that's the survival skills in me. That's the growing up with nothing in the cabinet. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure out what you're going to do or what neighbor's house you're going to go over to eat at. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you do grow up tough like that, you have the survival skills where other people crash and burn. You're like, what? I work best under pressure.
Without going into like the city bureaucracy, you know, Seattle has its own perks.
Right.
What's one or two biggest challenges that you can think of in the early days of setting it up, figuring it out, learning as you go?
Looking back on it, I would say that, wow, you know, I would be further than I am now. Like, and I'm pretty far, but I would be way further if I would have known what the difference from a sole proprietor or a corporation or LLC or things like that, like the knowledge, the educational knowledge of how to balance my money. Because in the beginning, I was like a street person, you know what I'm saying? I got a wad of cash. I got like $2,000 in my pocket.
Careful
you know?
now.
Right, careful. You know, so like, you know, you go put that in a bank and put some here and put some here and do something. So like the first 5 years of that, my mentality was of a hustler too, of somebody who was uneducated. Like, you know, even most people, they have the experience of their parents. Well, I know my parents did this and they budgeted this. Budget? What are you talking about, a budget?
Right.
I don't know about no budget. I got this $5,000. I'm going to blow that this week. I'm going to give me $5,000 next week. I didn't think like that, but I lived like that. So I wish that I would have been given things earlier, and which is what I'm giving to my kids now. My kids will be at the top of their game because what I didn't get, I actually gave them.
Okay, so what does it cost for me to get started in this business?
I would say, like, if you were gonna get like a big fancy cart or something like that, you're gonna pay around about $12,000. That's the high end of the cart that I have, the fanciest one. The other things that you have to have a fire permit, which is about $400. You have to have a public health permit, which everything probably costs about $2,000.
Whoa.
And yeah, you have to have a city permit, which the prices have just went up just for one location, and I have multiple, but just to start, that's probably another $2,000. And so I'm gonna say if you do the most fanciest cart with the permit, with everything, you're gonna pay, you gotta have insurance. $1 million insurance costs you about $200.
For the year?
For the year. So I'm gonna say with the fanciest cart involved, you're gonna probably pay anywhere from $18,000 to $20,000. If you use the cart that I bought offline used, which is pretty new, that was like $1,500. You add the 5, you're gonna spend anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 with a used cart. Okay. That's permits, supplies, startup, everything.
Say we took out the permitting, right? And you just did events.
If you just do events, you just need the cart and someone to man it, you know, and sometimes you can start and then get those things. Like there's nobody on your back, nobody that cares. When you file your taxes, you can file from the date you start, even if you didn't have that. Like, I'm not gonna cheat the government. This is the day I started. It's still the day I start when I file next year. So if you just have that cart and you wanna get started and then you wanna, like, as I got revenue, I added to my business and I bought more things. And so you can do that or go to the bigger cart even, so.
I know it's not picked up yet, and the concert's not going to happen for the next 4 hours, but you guys obviously, just based on social media, have a ton of customers.
Absolutely.
Right? How much marketing do you guys do on a day-to-day, weekly basis?
Honestly, not a lot. We don't do a lot of marketing. Our marketing really comes in on our Instagram. But other than that, it's just, I think what really markets us is just our consistency, rain or shine. And we're always out here regardless of the show. And our onions really do the talking. So
as soon as you put it on the grill, the aroma spreads around the city.
infiltrates the whole city.
It is really good, especially that chariness.
Right.
So how are you able to get so many customers without traditional marketing?
I've gotten a few really good reviews online, as well as a paper written about me in the Seattle Times.
Oh, what was that all about?
It was a blustery December day on one of our first locations ever in Seattle, which is 5th Ave and Pike. And I was out there one cold morning, and a guy bundled up came up to me and was like, "Can I please sketch you?" So I'm like, "You want to sketch me? Go for it." Literally 3 months down the line, he published and gave me the magazine with my whole story and sketch on it. And so
that'll help the business, right?
It definitely helped the business. And not to mention like other influencers now that like Instagram has gotten a lot more popular and things like that. To name a few, like Keith Lee has come to my stand, Nate Robinson, that's very devout to the Seattle here as well, because he used to play here. And so people like him that have those voices have came and reviewed my stand, and I've been behind it.
That's awesome. Tell us about the permitting process. I mean, focus on certain details that maybe our audience has never heard about before.
The permitting process when I first started was a little bit difficult because you had to do one to get the other, but if you didn't do the other, you couldn't get the other. Now it's a lot simpler. What I mean by that was like public health would require you to have a bathroom first, but the city wouldn't give you a permit where you didn't need a bathroom until you got public health to have a bathroom. So it was a little catch-22 going on there. And I think the city figured out that was a problem, so they fixed that now. You were also, prior you had to get permission for somebody to be in front of their business. Now you don't in Seattle.
Okay.
So now the first thing a person would do is they would have to acquire a public health permit. So you would just go online to the public health website, find out what kind of cart they require. Like this one requires a sink, a hand washing sink. You have to be able to wash your hands. Refrigerations, we do have a refrigerator on all of our carts. And the size of the cart for it to be on the street. Once you acquire the public health permit, you would have to figure out what location you want to be in. And then you would have to map it out to prove to the city that you can be there. And that would mean drawing out your site. I would draw these trees. I would draw the parking lot, everything within the realm of where I want to be. And you put the packet together. You can do it online fairly easy. And then the city's pretty easy to work with as far as street use permits. There's one step I missed ahead of time though. You'd have to get the insurance. That's one of the requirements of the city is that you have a public health permit, insurance, and fire. That's what the city requires. So you have to get all of those
cost
things.
you altogether?
It depends because each location you can pay anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000
That's a per year, or once you get
per year. That's per year per location.
Wow. Did you do it all yourself? Because it seems like a complicated web to navigate, especially if you're getting into this business brand new. What's your advice?
Not everybody can navigate this. I think you just do your research. You start the process. You start with public health. You ask people what's required of you, or you look online. Now, I'm not like promoting AI or anything, but now you have those kinds of things.
It's a tool, yeah.
You can go Google it because different areas do different things, different states. There are some states that don't allow food carts on their street. Then after you make that step, then you go to the next step. I would say don't get overwhelmed. Do it step by step.
All right, so once I have the right permits, walk us through the process of getting permission to be here with all the storefront owners and restaurants, et cetera.
After the city approves where you're at, meaning they come out and measure the sidewalks and everything, making sure that there's space. Once they do that, they'll give you like a call to action paperwork, and on there, there'll be a list of stores and a form that they've attached for you. You make copies and you need to send it out saying that you're requesting to be at this location. And then they have I think 7 days to contest it.
Okay. What about incentivizing owners and just being on the right page with those partners in a way, right? Because you're right in front of them. What do you do to build a good relationship?
I try to keep clean, or if I'm in front of somebody's store, even if something attached to their store has some of my debris on it, like wrappers or napkins, we'll pick it up, we'll sweep their storefront because it's coming from our stuff. Yeah, even if they're closed. We just make sure we keep the area clean. We make sure that if there's a request or somebody say, can you move over a little bit, or we'll try to follow through or be polite about it if we can't and try to work out a compromise. It's not like I'm here and I can be here and that's it. You know, it's a partnership because you never know what's going to lead you to something else. A lot of our partners are other businesses. If they're closing, hey, Deez Dogz is open, or if you want, I don't really want this, I want something quick. Oh, go to Deez Dogz, they're excellent. So that partnership, you never know what word of mouth they're going to get back, even if it's for an event. Somebody's having a wedding who owns the restaurant. You do the wrong thing, you could ruin 20 potential customers. So you got to always be thinking about it's your customer coming up to you, and it's your customer who's next to you, or your potential customer who's next to you.
You say that you're not money driven, and rather you're life driven. Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by that?
The gratification for me always comes when people are wowed by what I'm doing, or people are, you're doing a good job or whatever. So that's what started me originally. You know, I saw that it was something. And just the feel good of having your own. And I never have owned anything in my life. I never really had anything. I didn't grow up with family that had anything. So I think for me, just seeing that you could do something like that and seeing that it can be profitable but not make it about money. So I never watched the money. When I say that, I meant I was never like, okay, you made this much this week. Now this week you want to make this much. I didn't think like that. So that's what I mean when I say it wasn't money driven. But after the money came, I saw the freedom that the money gave me to be able to just pay my bills. It wasn't like, okay, I want to go get a Ferrari. That wasn't my drive. But I saw the freedom where I didn't have to call in. If a kid was sick, I'm the boss. I can stay home. You know what I'm saying? If I want to go take a trip for 2 weeks, I can shut down for 2 weeks. Somebody's not clocking you and telling you when you can be sick, telling you when you can go take care of your kids, telling you what you can do with your life. So the freedom is what really encouraged me to keep going. And as I seen that it was working out, it made me want to work harder.
Ain't nobody gonna tell you what to do.
At all.
Right?
Period.
That's how we roll.
Period.
So you've got an incredible amount of reviews, which is great for any business, right?
Right.
Have you gotten any negative ones? What did you learn from that?
I've seen one or two. They tried to call us to book event, which I can't confirm where they tried to call us at, and we never got back to them. That was one. And then I think we got one where the onions were burnt or something like that. Those are the 2 reviews we got. And I think for me, always corresponding with the customer. I'm sorry that happened to you. If you ever give us a chance to correct it, maybe they were too burnt for you. So next time I would offer you another option or another way of ordering that for yourself.
Do you ask for reviews when you hand over the product, or it's a natural thing?
No, I've
so you
never
don't have
thought
a system in place where, hey, leave us a review. We greatly appreciate it.
No, I've always said, and it's always been my motto, especially with the people that work for me and the people around me, if you do it for the love and not the likes will come. I do everything because I want a reputable business I want to care about. I want to have the service that I expect from when I go places. So I think if you just do that, they'll come naturally. I think people, when they leave feeling so good. Emotional wise, they leave, their stomach is full. They want to go leave a review.
Conventional wisdom may say it's not a good idea to hire family or friends, especially when you're starting a business. What's your feeling on that?
True. No, I think it's true.
Ways?
No, yeah, I do think it's definitely, it wasn't something that I ever thought about, because starting with my business partner, play sister, like that was automatic. So we were automatically in it as a family, right? And we were automatically in it for the same love, the same reason, the same passions. So, she works for me, actually. She's not like partner, but I treat her like a partner, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that works out well because she has the same core values as me, and she thinks a lot like me because we've worked around each other for so long. But as I started to add family, as the business started to grow and I started to add family, there were issues in the beginning. There were issues with people thinking they could be like, I can't come today because, I just don't feel good. I just want to go have a beverage. I don't know. They just simple reasons they will call in or come late or whatever. And I think after you get the feel of people and meeting them where they're at, you have to, especially with this business, because people, for some reason, they do not take this as seriously as a business they go clock into.
What's your advice to those who are considering hiring a friend or a family member?
I think leave it as an open thing to hire people. I do hire family a lot because it's easier for me and I can make my own rules with family. And a lot of times I pay people as contract work. They have to file their own taxes. So that's easier for me as well. So that's the easy part about hiring family. Family's okay with that. They want that. They don't mind filing their own taxes. But I think as far as the work ethic go, work ethic is work ethic. It's just how you lead as a boss. And I try to give people perks such as payments, such as lunches, we do gatherings, things to inspire them to want to come to work and be a part of this. And believe it or not, most of my family members are begging me to work.
Let's go, Deez Dogz. So you've got an unusual way of paying your employees or team members, right? Can you elaborate on why it could be seen as unusual? Are you not just doing a flat hourly in Seattle, or how are you paying your staff?
I wouldn't say it's the exact percentage, but I pay them a portion of what we sell. So I could just give you like an example, like when we do our conventions, one day we probably make like 10,000. So I might have 3 or 4 people. I might give them like 600 each, something like that. On a good normal day, like a Friday night or a Saturday night, where it's a difference between 200 and 400 hot dogs, it'll be a difference of them making on the 200 mark, maybe 300. And these are just for a few hours of work. We're talking about like after a club. We're not talking 8 hours of slavery or anything like that.
That makes sense, yeah.
And then maybe if we're selling upwards of 300 to 400 hot dogs, they might take home $450, $500.
Why not just go the simple route and say you're at $20 an hour, or no one would want to do that for $20 an hour, right? Because like you said, it's only what, 2-3 hours of work?
I think they would, because the tips, they also get tips. Our customers are excellent tippers. So this is a tipping job. Most tipping jobs here pay minimum wage. So I do have a base rate of about $20 an hour plus tips. They end up getting all of that.
Yeah.
If you're happy with where you're at, you'll do a better job. The way that you treat your people that work for you is how you keep people, whether they're family or not.
So how do you manage the time? Can you help us understand what your week looks like and what we can learn from managing it properly?
It's packed full of hot dogs.
And it's late hours too.
Late hours. I mean, myself manage a couple of locations, like today is Friday night. And so after this location, I'll be packing up like around 11:30 at night, and then heading out to my club location and setting this all back up, not leaving the location until about like 3 in the morning.
That's insane. You guys, we came here at 3. That's a hustle. That's a 10 to 12 hour process.
Absolutely.
So aside from big conventions like we are at today, do you cater to parties, smaller events?
We do everything in between as far as it be a birthday party, a wedding. We've done some memorial services as well. Anything in between, honestly, we've gotten asked to come out.
What are the pros and cons in that kind of a setup?
The event money is a little bit more just because we price it out different than just like a normal base stay. Let's say they prepay for 400 hot dogs, but we only use 80 of the hot dogs, then that profit is, you know, that's ours. So
They're not asking for a refund,
they're not asking
right?
for a refund, and I'm sure you can't ask for a refund anyways. So it's a huge margin. So when our 2 hours is up and we have only gave out 100 hot dogs out of the 400, then I mean you can do the math.
Do you recall what the percentage of the business today is with private events and what we're doing here today?
I'd say it's more on the 80% money, yeah.
So less
Yeah.
for now. Did you ever consider taking out a loan to expand the business quicker? Why or why not?
I've never considered taking out a loan, but I would consider in the future if it was a different expansion. But I think right now on this level, I make enough income to keep growing my business and contributing to my own business. I'm in this to stay out of debt.
Right, there's nothing better than to be debt-free, right?
Nothing better than to be debt-free. Nothing better than to look at all of this and know you don't owe anybody anything.
But love.
That's right.
Was it stressful for you to be in a competitive business? I mean, talk about the competitiveness, the stress of a hot dog stand too. How much is there in reality?
I think it wasn't stressful originally because it was all about location. It was all about where you go. You go where there's crowds of people. There's a food desert. There's not a lot of food around you. You don't want to set up in front of a restaurant or a bunch of food row or anything like that. You know, I think later on it became competitive, like as of now in the last year. I think now we have a lot of people that are coming from like California and different areas because we're a very liberal city, and they're just setting up their carts. They're not doing the permits or anything, which I don't mind.
Wild, wild west.
But they set right up in front of me, like 20 of them. And so because when people are in a hurry and people are drinking, they're not thinking things thoroughly. They're just going to what's in front of them. I mean, they've even blocked us. So you get those kinds of things, but we still found our way through that as well.
So if I want to get started on a similar business, what are some things to keep in mind?
I think anybody can do it. I think because this one, real life plays into how you run a business, because most of us in this country, we're juggling our lives. We're juggling work. We're juggling families. And we don't always know how we're going to do things. But when things come up, we kind of learn. And you got to be willing to forget everything that you had lined up in your life and go for your dream once it becomes your dream. Sure. There's jobs everywhere. You can go back to getting a job. Like that, people think, oh God, you overthink it. You know, go with the flow of it. Use the life techniques that you've been taught to. You're gonna jump in, even when you don't think you can. Just get in there. Just get in there.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to check out episode 233 with Daywan Matthews, whose Houston soul food truck is bringing in $22,000 a week, 7 months in. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.